"You're living off our charity, old man," Derek said. My daughter's husband. Said it right in front of her. Madison just looked at her phone. Didn't even flinch. I set down my coffee, smiled, took out my phone and pulled up one web page. That's all it took. His face went from smug to confused to pale in about 5 seconds. What Derek didn't know was I'd been letting him think exactly what he wanted to think. For 2 years. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. My name is Thomas Garrett. I'm 71 years old. For the last 2 years, I've been living in the guest house behind my daughter's home. Small place, maybe 400 square feet. Kitchenette, bathroom, bed. Derek called it the shed when he thought I couldn't hear. I moved in after Martha died. Cancer. 18 months from diagnosis to burial. Madison had insisted. "Dad, you can't be alone right now. We have the guest house. It's perfect." Perfect, right. The first 6 months were fine. Madison checked on me daily, brought dinner most nights. Derek was polite. Distant, but polite. He worked in pharmaceutical sales, made decent money. Not great, but decent. They'd bought the house 3 years before Martha got sick. Big place. 4 bedrooms, pool. HOA fees that made my eyes water when Madison mentioned them once. I kept to myself mostly. Took walks, read, worked on my laptop. Derek saw the laptop once and made a comment. "Still keeping busy, Tom? That's good. Keeps the mind sharp at your age." At your age. Like 71 meant senile. I'd sold my house after Martha died. Didn't need it. Too many memories. 4 bedrooms for one person. Her garden that I didn't know how to maintain. The bedroom where she died holding my hand. Madison had asked what I did with the money. I'd been vague. Invested it. Set some things up. Don't worry about it. She hadn't pushed. Why would she? Her father was living in her guest house. Clearly, he needed help. The shift happened around month 8. Small things first. Derek stopped saying hello when he saw me. Madison's dinner visits became less frequent. 3 times a week, then twice, then Sundays only. I started buying my own groceries, cooking for myself. Not a problem. I had done most of the cooking after Martha got too weak to stand at the stove. Then Derek started with the comments. Must be nice to be retired. No responsibilities. Some of us still have to work for a living. Property taxes went up again. Everything's more expensive. That last one was directed at me. I was sitting by the pool. My pool time was apparently an issue. I'd asked Madison if it was okay. She'd said yes, but Derek's tone suggested my presence was costing them something. I let it go. Madison was my only child. Her mother had died. She'd insisted I live here. I wasn't going to cause problems. The comments got sharper. Month 14, Thanksgiving. They'd invited me to dinner. I'd brought wine. Expensive bottle. Derek had looked at the label and made a face. "Trying to impress someone, Tom?" Madison had laughed. Awkward, trying to smooth it over. Dad always had good taste in wine. "Must be nice to spend money on luxuries," Derek had said. "When other people are paying your bills." I had set down my fork, looked at him. "What bills am I running up?" "Water, electricity. You think that guest house runs on goodwill?" The electricity to my guest house was maybe $30 a month. I knew. I'd checked the meter myself, but Derek was keeping score. Madison had changed the subject, asked about Christmas plans, steering away from confrontation like she'd been doing more and more. I should have seen it clearly then, but I'd wanted to believe my daughter was still on my side, that her silence was just conflict avoidance, not agreement. Month 18, February. Cold night. I'd walked up to the main house to borrow milk. Forgot to buy some. The lights were on in the kitchen. I could see them through the window before I knocked. Derek's voice carried, loud, angry. "He's been here a year and a half, Madison. When is he going to get his own place?" "He's my father. He just lost my mom. 18 months ago. At some point he needs to move on. We didn't sign up to support your father indefinitely. We're not supporting him. He's just living in the guest house, which we could be renting out. Do you know what we could get for that space? $1,500 a month easy. That's 18 grand a year we're losing. Silence. Then Madison's voice. Quieter. I can't just kick him out. I'm not saying kick him out. I'm saying he needs to contribute, or find somewhere else. We have expenses, Madison. The property tax bill is due next month, $7,000, while your father sits by our pool drinking wine we paid for. I hadn't paid for that wine. I'd bought it myself, but Derek had a narrative, and my daughter wasn't correcting him. I'd walked back to the guest house, didn't knock, didn't borrow the milk, drank my coffee black the next morning. After that, I started noticing everything. Derek never spoke directly to me anymore, only at me. Comments made to Madison while I was in earshot. Seems like Tom's home a lot. Guess when you don't work, every day's a Saturday. Must be nice to have someone else handle all your living expenses. Madison's visits stopped entirely. She'd text sometimes. How are you, Dad? Generic, distant. Like I was an obligation she was checking off. I thought about leaving, finding an apartment, but something stopped me. Maybe stubbornness. Maybe curiosity about how far this would go. Maybe I just wanted to see if my daughter would ever stand up for me. She didn't. Month 23. Last month. Early March. I was carrying groceries from my car. Derek pulled in, saw me, looked at the bags. Still eating, I see. Must be nice. I'd stopped walking, set down the bags. Derek, I buy my own groceries. I pay for my own food. I haven't asked you for a single dollar. You're living in my house. I'm living in a guest house your wife invited me to stay in after her mother died. Yeah, well, she's too nice to tell you the truth. You're a burden. You've been a burden for 2 years. Some of us have to actually work while you sit around pretending to be busy on that laptop. Pretending to be busy. I'd picked up my groceries, walked away. Not because I was scared. Because I was trying very hard not to let my daughter's husband see exactly how angry I was. That night I'd lain awake thinking about numbers, about what I'd given Madison over the years. Not because I wanted it back, but because Derek's words kept playing. Freeloader. Burden. The down payment on this house. I'd given them $90,000. Madison had asked. She and Derek were $30,000 short. Their loan had fallen through. They'd lose the house. Could I help? I'd written the check. Didn't ask for repayment. It was my daughter, my only child, her wedding. $62,000. Martha and I had paid for everything. The venue, the food, the band, the flowers, the photographer. Derek's parents had contributed $5,000. We'd covered the rest. The business loan 3 years ago. Derek had wanted to start a medical equipment company. Needed capital. Banks wouldn't touch him. I'd loaned him $45,000. He'd said it was temporary, 6 months max. The business folded after 8 months. Never got repaid, never mentioned it again. Madison's car, $28,000. She'd totaled her old one. Insurance hadn't covered enough for a replacement. Derek's credit was maxed out from the failed business. I'd bought her car outright. The Europe trip for their anniversary, $12,000. We need this, Dad. Things have been stressful, just a loan. We'll pay you back when Derek gets his bonus. That was 2 years ago. No bonus, no repayment, no mention of it again. Monthly help. This was harder to track. Because it hadn't been monthly. It had been constant. Groceries when money was tight. Utility bills when Derek was between jobs. Birthday money for Madison. Christmas gifts I'd bought them. Little things. 100 here, 300 there. I'd opened my banking app, pulled up 5 years of transactions, started counting. $217,400. Not counting the wedding, not counting gifts, not counting the times I'd helped with smaller things that I hadn't tracked. $250,000. To a daughter who now avoided me, and a son-in-law who called me a freeloader. I'd sat there in my 400-square-foot guest house, the shed, looking at the numbers. The rage built slow. Cold. The kind that doesn't explode. The kind that calculates. Derek thought I was broke. An old man living off his charity. He saw the small space. the simple life, the lack of a car newer than 10 years old. He'd built a narrative, and Madison had let him. What Derek didn't know was why I lived simply, what that laptop was for, what those investments were that I'd mentioned to Madison 2 years ago. I'd spent 40 years building something, started with nothing. A small software company in 1985, 2 employees, me and a kid fresh out of MIT. We'd built custom database systems. Boring work, profitable work. Sold that company in 1998, $22 million. Put most of it into a venture capital fund. Made some bets, lost some, won more. Retired in 2003. Not because I had to, because Martha wanted to travel. We'd spent 15 years seeing the world, living quietly. The money grew. I'd stayed involved in a few investments, advisory roles, nothing public, nothing flashy. When Martha got sick, I'd liquidated some things, made some changes, simplified. Set up trusts, established foundations, put systems in place so I wouldn't have to think about money while my wife was dying. Current net worth, according to my last quarterly statement, $187 million. Derek thought I was a freeloader living in his shed. The irony was sharp enough to cut. I'd thought about telling Madison years ago, but Martha had talked me out of it. Let her build her own life. Let her be proud of what she accomplishes. She doesn't need to know what we have. It'll just complicate things. Martha had been right, until she wasn't, because now my daughter thought I needed her help, and her husband thought I was a parasite. I could have left, could have bought a house with cash, could have shown them the bank statements, could have made Derek's face go pale with a single document. But I'd wanted to see something, wanted to know if Madison would ever stand up for me, if she'd ever question Derek's narrative, if the daughter I'd raised would remember who her father was. She hadn't. 2 weeks ago, late March, morning, I was having coffee by the pool, 8 a.m. Derek came out for work, saw me, walked over. We need to talk. I had set down my coffee. Okay, this isn't working anymore. You've been here 2 years. Madison's too nice to say it, but I'm not. You need to start contributing financially, or you need to find somewhere else to live. Contributing how much? $1,500 a month. Market rate for the space. $1,500 a month. From a man I'd loaned $45,000 to. Never repaid. Living in a house I'd given $90,000 toward. Driving a car next to the one I'd bought his wife. And if I don't? Then you need to leave. End of the month. That's 30 days. Should be enough time to find an apartment somewhere. Does Madison know you're giving me this ultimatum? Madison knows we can't keep supporting you. She's just too nice to be direct. Someone has to be the adult here. The adult, right. I'll think about it. Don't think too long. 30 days. He'd walked to his car, driven off, left me sitting by the pool in the house I'd helped him buy. I'd called my attorney that afternoon. Stephen Wilcox. I'd known him for 20 years. Sharp, discreet, good at making complicated things simple. Stephen, I need some documents prepared. What kind of documents? The kind that make a point. I'd explained the situation, not with emotion, just facts. Stephen had laughed, once, sharp. You're really going to do this? I'm really going to do this. When do you need them? End of the week. You've got them. The documents arrived Friday. Thick folder. Everything I'd asked for, everything I needed. Saturday. Derek had people over. Barbecue. I hadn't been invited. Could hear the laughter from the guest house, the music, the splash of people in the pool. My pool time was apparently an issue, but his friends were welcome. I'd worked on my laptop, finished some things, made some calls, set some wheels in motion. Sunday. Yesterday. Madison texted, "Can you come to dinner tonight? 6 p.m. No, please. No, we'd love to see you." Just instruction. Like I was being summoned. I'd texted back, "I'll be there." 6 p.m. I'd walked to the main house. Knocked. Derek answered. Didn't invite me in, just stepped aside. Expectant. Madison was in the kitchen, cooking. Didn't look up when I entered. "Hi, Dad." "Madison. Dinner's almost ready. Derek, can you set the table?" We'd sat down. Pot roast, potatoes, carrots. The same meal Martha used to make. Madison knew that. She'd learned the recipe from her mother. I wondered if she'd made it deliberately. Memory or coincidence. Small talk through the first course. Weather. Madison's work. Generic things. Safe things. Then Derek set down his fork. Looked at me. "Tom, we need to discuss your situation. My situation. Your living arrangement. I talked to you last week. Have you thought about what I said?" "I've thought about it." And Madison was looking at her plate, not eating, not speaking, just present. Witness to whatever was about to happen. "I'm not paying you $1,500 a month, Derek." His jaw tightened. "Then you need to make other arrangements. Because I'm a freeloader." "I didn't say that." "You've said it, maybe not in those exact words. But you've made yourself clear. For months now, I'm a burden, living off your charity, sitting around doing nothing while you work hard to support me." Madison looked up. "Dad, that's not—" "It is exactly what he thinks, what he's been saying, what you've been letting him say." Silence. Madison's face flushed. Caught. Derek leaned back, crossed his arms. "Look, Tom, this isn't personal. It's practical. We have expenses, real expenses, property taxes, mortgage, maintenance. We can't afford to support a third person indefinitely. You're a grown man. You should be contributing." "Contributing?" "Yes, like an adult." I'd reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out my phone, set it on the table, opened a web page, turned it to face Derek. Forbes. The screen showed text, numbers, a list. "Do you know what this is?" Derek looked confused. "Forbes?" "The Forbes 400, top 400 wealthiest Americans, updated quarterly. I'm on page 7. His eyes moved down the screen, reading, searching, then stopping. "Thomas Garrett, net worth $187 million. Venture capital, technology investments, private holdings." I watched his face. Confusion shifting, realization dawning, color draining. Madison leaned forward, looked at the screen. Her hand went to her mouth. "That's you?" "That's me." Silence. Complete. Just the sound of the air conditioning running, the clock ticking. Same clock that had been on that wall since they'd bought the place. Derek's mouth opened, closed, opened again. You're worth more than the number on that page. Forbes estimates conservatively. They don't count private holdings accurately, real numbers closer to 220. Million. Madison was staring. "Dad, I don't understand." "What's not to understand? Your husband's been calling me a freeloader for 2 years. Thought you should know what exactly it is he thinks I've been freeloading." Derek stood up, fast, chair scraping. "Why didn't you say something?" "Say something? When, Derek? When you called me a burden? When you told Madison you couldn't keep supporting me? When you gave me 30 days to get out? Which of those moments should I have interrupted to explain that I'm worth more than you'll make in 10 lifetimes? You thought I was broke. Old man living in your guest house. Must need help. Must be desperate. Must be grateful for your charity." Madison's voice came out quiet, shaking. "Dad, if you had money, why were you living here?" "Because you invited me, after your mother died. You said I shouldn't be alone. You said the guest house was perfect. I thought you wanted me here. I did. I do." "Do you? When's the last time you brought me dinner, Madison? When's the last time you checked on me? When's the last time you visited just to visit?" Her eyes dropped. No answer. "Thought so. I've been living in your guest house for 2 years. You stopped seeing me after 6 months. Derek started complaining after 8. By month 14, I was a problem to be managed. By month 23, I was being evicted." Derek's hands were shaking. "Tom, I didn't know. Obviously. You know what you did know? Let me show you." I'd pulled out the folder Stephen had prepared, set it on the table, opened it. "This is a summary of financial transactions between me and your household over the last 10 years, starting with your wedding." I'd pushed the first page toward them. $62,000. Wedding expenses. Martha and I paid for everything. Next page. $90,000. Down payment on this house. You asked. I wrote the check. Next page. $45,000. Business loan for Derek's. Medical equipment company. Never repaid. Business folded after 8 months. Next page. $28,000. Madison's car after her accident. Bought outright. Next page. $12,000. Europe trip. Anniversary present. You said you'd repay me. Didn't. Next page. These are monthly transfers. Grocery help. Utility bills. Emergency expenses. Small things. They add up to $47,000 over 5 years. Final page. Total. $217,400. Not counting gifts. Not counting interest I could have earned. Not counting the value of financial advice I gave Derek that he ignored. I'd pushed the stack toward Derek. Let him look. Let him process. So when you talk about supporting me, Derek, understand something. I've put $250,000 into your life. Your house, your business, your trips, your wife's car, your daily expenses when money was tight. His hands were flat on the table, head down, not looking at me. Dad, Madison's voice broke. I didn't know it was that much. You didn't ask. You just assumed. Both of you. Assumed I needed help. Assumed I was grateful. Assumed I had nowhere else to go. We thought. You thought wrong. I have 6 houses, investment properties. I could live anywhere. I chose here because you invited me, because I just lost your mother, because I thought my daughter wanted me close. Tears on her face now, silent, streaming. I'd stood up, picked up my phone, left the folder on the table. Derek, about your 30-day ultimatum. I'm moving out, but not in 30 days. Tonight. Tom, wait. I'm done waiting, done being tolerated, done watching my daughter avoid me while her husband calculates my worth based on electrical bills. Dad, please. Madison stood, reaching. I'm sorry. I should have said something. You should have remembered who I am, not what Derek told you I was. I'd walked to the door, stopped, turned back. One more thing. That wedding? Your mother cried the whole time. Happy tears, she said, proud of the woman you'd become. She died thinking you were still that woman. The door had closed behind me with a soft click. Back in the guest house, I'd called a moving company. 24-hour service? Expensive. Didn't care. They'd arrive at 8 a.m., pack everything, store it temporarily until I decided where I wanted to be. I'd called Stephen next. I need the Asheville property prepared. Furniture, utilities, everything. I want it ready in 3 days. You're really leaving? I'm really leaving. Good for you, Tom. We'll see. I'd worked through the night, organizing, packing what the movers wouldn't handle. Personal things. Photos of Martha. Her books. The quilt she'd been making when she got too sick to finish. My phone had buzzed around midnight. Madison. Dad, please don't leave like this. Let's talk. Please. I'd stared at the message. Typed back. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Derek made his opinion clear. I'm respecting both. 3 dots appearing, disappearing, appearing again. Finally. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. No response after that. Morning. The movers arrived early. Professional. Efficient. I'd pointed at what needed packing. Stood aside. Let them work. Madison came out around 9, still in her robe. Eyes red. She'd been crying. Dad. Madison. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. I'm leaving, like Derek asked. He meant exactly what he said. I'm a burden. I need to contribute or leave. I'm leaving. Where will you go? North Carolina. I have a house in Asheville. Bought it 6 years ago. Investment property. It's empty. It'll do. Dad, that's 8 hours away. Yes. Her face crumpled. So that's it? You're just leaving? You stopped visiting 18 months ago. I've been gone for a while. You just didn't notice. That's not fair. Isn't it? Tell me the last time you came to see me without needing something. Tell me the last time you called just to talk. Tell me the last time you stood up for me when Derek was making his little comments. Silence. That's what I thought. The movers had finished loading. One of them approached. All set, Mr. Garrett. We'll have everything in storage by noon. Call when you're ready for delivery. Thank you. I'd walked to my car. 10-year-old Honda. Derek had made comments about it. Still driving that old thing, Tom? Yeah, still driving it. Paid cash in 2014. Runs perfectly. I'd never seen the point of expensive cars. Madison followed me. Dad, wait. Just give me a chance to fix this. I'd stopped, turned, looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. She looked like Martha. Same eyes, same nose, same slight frame. But something was different. Something had changed. Or maybe something had always been there and I'd missed it. Madison, I gave you $250,000 over 10 years. I never asked for repayment, never mentioned it, never held it over you. You know why? She shook her head, crying again. Because you're my daughter. Because I wanted to help. Because that's what parents do. I know, but here's what you don't seem to know. Help is only help when it's appreciated, when it's acknowledged, when the person receiving it remembers it's a gift, not an obligation. I never forgot. You did. Somewhere along the way, my help became expected, then invisible, then irrelevant. Derek saw a broke old man because that's what he wanted to see. But you should have known better. I'm sorry. I know you are. Now. I'd gotten in my car, started the engine. Madison was standing in the driveway. Small, lost. Like a child who'd just realized she'd broken something important. I'd driven away without looking back. 8 hours to Asheville. I'd driven it before. Beautiful route. Mountains, trees, spring coming on, everything green and new. My phone had buzzed throughout the drive, Madison calling, texting, calling again. I'd let it ring. Didn't answer. Didn't read the messages. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Derek called once. I'd answered that one. Curious. Tom. His voice was tight, controlled. We need to talk. We already talked. I made a mistake. I didn't know. You didn't know I had money. That's what changed. Not that you were wrong. Not that you were cruel. Just that you miscalculated. That's not it. It's exactly right. If I was actually broke, you'd be fine with kicking me out. But now that you know I'm not, now you want to talk. Now it's a mistake. Silence. Then, what do you want me to say? Nothing. There's nothing to say. You showed me exactly who you are. I'm choosing to believe you. Tom! I'd hung up, blocked his number. Done. Asheville house was perfect. 3 bedrooms, mountain view, quiet neighborhood. Stephen had arranged everything. Furniture delivered, utilities on, groceries stocked. All I had to do was unlock the door and walk in. I'd stood in the empty living room. Quiet, peaceful, mine. My phone buzzed. Not Madison this time. Unknown number. I'd answered. Mr. Garrett, this is Rebecca Chen from the Asheville Community Foundation. Stephen Wilcox suggested I reach out. I understand you're relocating to the area. I am. We'd love to have you on our board. We focus on housing initiatives for seniors. Stephen mentioned you might be interested. I might be. Wonderful. Are you available for coffee this week? I'd love to discuss our current projects. Thursday work? Thursday's perfect. We'd set a time. Hung up. I'd smiled. First real smile in weeks. The next 3 days passed quiet. I'd unpacked. Explored the town. Found a coffee shop I liked. A bookstore. A walking trail. Simple things. Things I'd forgotten I enjoyed. Madison called every day. Left voicemails. Dad, please, just talk to me. I can't fix this if you won't talk to me. I'd listened to them. All of them. Heard the desperation, the guilt, the fear. Part of me felt bad. Small part. The larger part remembered 2 years of being invisible, of being a problem, of being tolerated until I wasn't. Thursday. Coffee with Rebecca. She was sharp, mid-50s, former attorney turned nonprofit director. We talked for 2 hours. Housing, resources, the gap between what seniors needed and what was available. We're trying to fund a new assisted living facility, independent housing for seniors who need community but not medical care. The need is enormous. What's the funding gap? About $3 million. We've raised $700,000. Still a long way to go. What if I covered it? She'd stopped mid-sip. Coffee cup frozen halfway to her mouth. Covered all of it? All of it. $3 million. What would you need from me? Mr. Garrett, are you serious? Completely. Stephen can handle the details. I want to fund it. Anonymous. Donation. No naming rights. Just build it. She'd set down her coffee, extended her hand, shaking. Thank you. You have no idea what this means. I think I do. We'd finished coffee, made plans to meet again. She'd left looking dazed, happy, like someone had just handed her a winning lottery ticket, because someone had. I'd called Stephen after. I just committed $3 million to the Asheville Community Foundation. Good. What else? I want to set up a trust for Madison, $25,000 a year, disbursed monthly. She can't access the principal, can't borrow against it, just monthly income. Any conditions? 1. She can never ask me for money again. She does. The trust terminates. Everything goes to charity. That's cold, Tom. That's protection. Can you draft it? I can draft it. Do it. Friday, 1 week after I'd left. Madison showed up. I heard the car in the driveway, looked out. Her car. She'd driven 8 hours, alone. I'd opened the door before she knocked. She looked terrible, exhausted. Eyes red, hair pulled back, yoga pants and a sweatshirt. Not the polished daughter I'd seen at dinner. Someone raw, real. Dad? Madison. Can I come in? I'd stepped aside. Let her enter. She'd looked around, taking in the space, the mountain view, the peace. It's beautiful. It works. She'd turned to face me. Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have said something. I should have stopped Derek. I should have... You should have remembered I'm your father. Not a problem to be solved. I know that now. I don't know what happened. Derek was stressed about money. The property taxes were high. His sales numbers were down. He kept talking about expenses, and I let him. I let him make you into a problem instead of remembering you're my dad. You let him because part of you agreed. She'd flinched. That's not true, isn't it? You stopped visiting, stopped calling, stopped checking on me. That wasn't Derek. That was you. Tears now. Heavy. I was busy. Work was crazy. The house needed repairs. Time just slipped away. Time doesn't slip. You choose where it goes. You chose not to spend it with me. I'm sorry. I know you are. So what now? I'd walked to the kitchen, poured coffee, brought her a cup. We'd sat at the table. Same table Madison had sat at 1,000 times growing up. Different house, same ritual. Now you go home. Back to Derek. Back to your life. And I stay here, in mine. That's it? You're just cutting me off? I'm not cutting you off. I'm choosing distance. There's a difference. Dad, please, give me a chance to make this right. Madison, you're 43 years old. You've had 2 years to make this right. You chose not to. You chose to let your husband treat me like a burden. You chose to avoid me. You chose to prioritize his narrative over your memory of who I am. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Multiple choices. Over months. Those weren't mistakes. Those were decisions. She'd set down her coffee, covered her face, sobbing. Real. Deep. The kind that comes from genuine regret. I'd let her cry. Didn't comfort her. Didn't reach across the table. Just sat. Waited. Finally, she'd looked up. What can I do? Nothing right now. Maybe nothing ever. I don't know yet. You're my dad. I love you. I know. But love isn't enough when it's not backed by action. You loved me while Derek mocked me. You loved me while I sat alone in that guest house. You loved me while planning to let him evict me. Your love didn't protect me, it didn't defend me, it just existed. Passive. Useless. That's not fair. It's completely fair. Love is a verb, Madison. It does things. It shows up. It speaks up. It fights. Your love did none of that. Silence. Long. Heavy. Can I come visit? Sometimes? Eventually. Maybe. I need time. How much time? I don't know. Months. Maybe a year. Maybe longer. Dad. Madison, you hurt me. Deeply. Not with one moment. With 2 years of moments. With absence. With silence. With choosing Derek over me again and again until I became invisible. You can't fix that with an apology and a drive to Asheville. She'd stood, shaking. I don't know what else to do. Go home. Think about what you actually want. Not what Derek wants. Not what's convenient. What you actually want. If that includes me, show me. With time, with effort, with choices that prove it. And if I do that, then maybe we rebuild something. Different than before, but something. She'd walked to the door, stopped, turned back. Mom would hate this. Your mother would hate what you let happen. She'd hate that you let Derek treat me that way. She'd hate that you disappeared for 2 years. Don't use her memory to guilt me, Madison. She'd be on my side. Madison had left, driven away. I'd watched from the window, saw her sit in her car for 10 minutes before starting the engine, crying, processing, whatever she needed to do. I'd felt something then, not satisfaction, not victory, just tired, sad. The specific sadness that comes from necessary endings. Saturday, day 9. My phone rang. Stephen. Tom, Madison called me. She wants to contest the trust terms. On what grounds? She says it's punitive, that you're trying to control her. I'm trying to protect myself. Tell her if she contests it, the trust dissolves entirely. Every dollar goes to the foundation. Her choice. You're really doing this? I'm really doing this. She's your daughter, and I'm her father. Being family doesn't mean accepting mistreatment. Tell her what I said. I'll tell her. An hour later, Stephen called back. She's not contesting it. She agreed to the terms. Good. Tom, this is going to hurt her. It's already hurt me. Now it's her turn. Sunday, day 10. Derek called from a different number. I'd answered, mistake. Tom, this is insane. You're destroying your relationship with Madison over a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding. You called me a freeloader. You gave me 30 days to leave. You spent 2 years making me feel unwelcome. Those weren't misunderstandings. Those were choices. I didn't know you had money. And that's the problem, Derek. Your treatment of me was based on what you thought I was worth. When you thought I was broke, I was disposable. Now that you know I'm not, suddenly I matter. That's not a misunderstanding. That's character. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes are one-time things. You spent 2 years making the same mistake over and over. That's not error. That's who you are. Madison's a wreck. She's barely eating, barely sleeping. You're killing her. I'm not killing her. I'm letting her experience consequences, something you've never let her do. What does that mean? It means every time Madison has needed something, I've provided it. Every time you two have struggled, I've fixed it. Down payment, car, business loans, monthly help. I've removed every natural consequence from your lives. So neither of you learned to appreciate what you had. You learned to expect it, to demand it, to resent me when I couldn't provide fast enough. It's exactly right. And now you're both learning what life looks like without my money smoothing every rough edge. How does it feel, Derek? Silence. Then, fuck you, Tom. There it is, your real self. Thanks for confirming my decision. I'd hung up. Blocked the new number. Done. Monday, day 11. I met with the foundation board. 6 people, all committed, all passionate. We discussed the new facility, timelines, design, population it would serve. Rebecca had introduced me. Tom's funding the entire project. $3 million. Without him, this doesn't happen. Applause. Gratitude. People shaking my hand. Thanking me. Acting like I'd done something extraordinary. I hadn't. I'd just written a check. Easy when you have money. Harder when you don't. After the meeting, an older woman approached. Board member. Helen something. Mr. Garrett, can I ask you something? Of course. Why housing for seniors? Why this project? I thought about it. Because I spent 2 years living in a 400-square-foot guest house. Because I know what it feels like to be tolerated. Because seniors deserve better than being someone's burden. She'd smiled. Sad. Understanding. You lived it. I lived it. Well, thank you. This matters. You're welcome. That night I'd sat on my deck. Mountain view. Stars. Quiet. My phone had buzzed. Madison again. Dad, I'm seeing a therapist. Working through things. I want to understand what I did. I want to be better. I'd stared at the message. Thought about responding. Didn't. Not yet. Too soon. Too raw. But I'd saved the message. Didn't delete it. That meant something. Tuesday, day 12. I woke up and realized something. I felt lighter, free. The weight I'd been carrying for 2 years. The weight of being tolerated, of being unwelcome, of being a problem, was gone. I wasn't living in someone's guest house, wasn't waiting for someone to visit, wasn't monitoring my pool time or worrying about electricity bills or measuring my worth in someone else's eyes. I was just Tom Garrett. 71 years old, widower, veteran, entrepreneur, philanthropist, father to a daughter I loved but didn't currently like, living in a house I owned, in a town I was learning to love, building something new. It wasn't the life I'd planned. Martha should have been here. Madison should have been calling with good news, not apologies. Derek should have never existed, but this was the life I had, and for the first time in 2 years, it felt like mine. The coffee was hot. The view was beautiful. And the only person's opinion that mattered was my own. That felt like victory. If you liked this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.